Here we are on a Sunday afternoon.
On Mother's Day.
It's Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to everybody's mothers.
Yep.
Welcome to the podcast.
This is going to be posted 2 weeks from now.
Different. Okay, 2 weeks from now, it won't be Mother's Day anymore at all, but
No.
it's still happy day to them.
Wow,
You know?
where's International Father's Day?
It's coming.
Am I right?
This time, it's different. With Peter and Chris. This time, it's different.
This time the podcast is different, so I just want everybody to be prepared.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Sorry. Okay?
Really sorry.
It's changed this time. We have a wonderful guest on today.
Sorry
a cast
about
member
that.
Sorry about that.
Sorry
They're
about
wonderful.
it, guys.
It's a cast member on 22 Minutes with me. Put your hands together.
Just me, I guess?
I guess.
Okay,
just
I'm ready.
Peter.
I'm ready.
For Aba Amuquandoh.
Hi. Hey, guys.
Hello. Thank you for doing the podcast.
Oh my God, thanks for having me. I'm so excited.
And you have a podcast that I just did called
it was
Nostalgique.
Yes.
And we talked about nostalgic things.
Yeah.
We talked about Our Lady Peace.
Our Lady Peace.
That's what I brought to the table.
And it was great. It was a great episode. Very funny.
I like right before we recorded, you audibly were like, I can't believe we're talking about Our Lady Peace today. Anyway.
But there was just this period in my life in like grade 5 where I was listening to a lot of Canadian music, like Our Lady Peace, Nickelback, fucking Hinder. Are they Canadian? I think they are.
I've never even heard that name.
Yeah, I actually haven't
Hinder?
heard of them.
Oh, God.
Hinder.
Think of Our Lady Peace, but more from like London, Ontario, like something very decrepit about them. Shout out to London, Ontario. I'm sorry. I don't know why I just fired shots at you.
It's a good shout out.
I got to cut
Our
so
Lady
much out of this.
Our Lady Peace reminds me of that time of my life.
So we
That's
thought
awesome.
that maybe for this podcast we could sort of rip off your podcast a little bit, and because talking about Our Lady Peace, it did bring up lots of childhood stories it just lodged them out of my brain.
That's the thing. That's why we love doing the podcast. It's so much fun, like hearing about everyone's like childhood nonsense.
Yeah.
I love that.
But I did want to ask, or maybe we'll just start with this.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a story that maybe, because it's Mother's Day, is there a story that your mother would tell? Like if you got family or a dinner, you're having a dinner party, you got guests over. Mm-hmm. Do you have a story that you can think of that is like the embarrassing story that your mother will tell all the time?
Yes.
Like no matter who's listening, they're ripping on you. I could begin to give you some time because I had thought of it. So the one that always comes up, just checking if I'm recording, and I am, and it's all good. It always comes up is like a story that my mom loves to tell about a time that I shit my pants.
So she's like, he was in first year university.
Yeah. But she likes to tell it, and we're walking through Beacon Hill Park, I believe, in Victoria. Mm-hmm. And we're at the petting zoo or something. And I'm wearing diapers still. I'm probably, but old enough to talk, right?
Okay, yes.
And old enough to have like attitude as well, because my mom comes up and she sees me like by the fence or something, and I'm like quietly like pushing one out, I guess. just being private.
Yeah.
But you have diaper face. You have that face that
I have
kids
diaper
where they're
face.
like weirdly concentrating on something.
And she comes up and asks me if I'm, pooing my pants currently. And then I tell her to leave me alone. Leave me alone, Mommy. Go look at the ducks. Go look at the ducks. I tell her to go over to a different section of the petting zoo and just take in the ducks for a second.
Oh my God.
So, like I said, I had attitude.
Yes.
I was like a little kid from New York, it sounded like. Go look at the ducks,
Go look
Mom.
at the ducks.
Why don't you go look at the fucking ducks, huh? Take those in. Take those into your peepers, huh?
I'm shitting here.
This don't concern you.
Don't concern you.
So that story sort of came up when I didn't tell it on the podcast because I didn't want to tell a poo story. I was like, we'll
Yes.
save this. We'll save this for ours.
Yes. Oh,
That's
Yeah,
what she tells all the time. Do you have one?
Oh my God. I think I do. Oh my God. It's so embarrassing. I remember one time in grade 6 or 7, I was like, I had just like began going through puberty. And so it was like the first time I had started wearing a bra or something like that. It was like a training bra. And I remember I was at my cousin's house and we were playing. It's like this weird age between me being like, okay, I guess I have to start being a girl and not playing sports, and me really being competitive about sports. So like I'm dressed up all cute for this party because I'm a preteen and I start caring about those things. But also like I'm in the basement with a bunch of like truly 12 and 13-year-olds playing like competitive sports. And so for some reason, the buckle of my training bra like snapped open. And in the process of this got like lodged in the knit of my sweater and like ripped the sweater open. So like there's like huge like what do you call it? It's chaos. There's like a huge gap in my sweater as I'm playing, and my uncle comes downstairs and he's like taking pictures of us playing while this party's going on. Yeah. And a few weeks later, my mom gets the pictures that we took, and everyone looks cute, everyone looks great. And then there's me, like 13-year-old me, like in the middle of like catching a ball, and my sweater is completely fucking split open, and you can see my little like grade 8 boob hanging out. And my mom's like, how did no one clock this? And I was mortified. And my mom's like, oh my God, no, it's okay. Like no one noticed. But then went like a few weeks later when like that same family, part of our family came over, my mom's like, the pictures are here. And she forgot to take the pictures out.
Oh no.
So everyone saw them. I don't know if this is like a problematic story, but it's truly the most mortifying thing that's ever happened to me.
Of course.
Like, everyone's not only my little boob, but like also like my little like grade 8 gut. I don't know if anyone was fat in elementary school.
Grade 8 gut.
But I have like a gut from eating Dunkaroos and like all that.
Yeah, that's because Dunkaroos are rad.
Yeah, it was a horrible time.
Yeah. I didn't have, I'm surprised though, like that. The amount of Dunkaroos that I ingested in grade 8, like in my like paper bag lunch, just the bullshit. Like, my mom.
Oh man,
my mom would make me like Pillsbury pizzas every day, and like 2 Pillsbury pizzas, and I would eat cold pizza almost every day. Garbage.
Just wrapped in foil.
Because that's all I would want. I didn't want like a nice, beautiful ham sandwich or something.
Yeah.
Because it reeks. Ham sandwiches, bringing a ham sandwich to school with your ham sandwich in a lunchbox. Like you put one ham sandwich in one lunchbox, it stinks forever.
For real. Oh my God. This is like next level. Because I know a lot of kids who like have like specific ethnic backgrounds, like regardless of race, or like I can't bring my babushka's like famous soup because kids in Vancouver don't know what it is. But this is like next level inter-ethnicity
ham sandwich.
Us white kids had our ham sandwich.
This is white on white crime that they were making fun of you for having a ham sandwich.
White on white crime. That's also, hey, we had it tough too. That bread would stick right to the roof of your mouth. That stuff was
hard. The ham was so fragrant.
Yeah. You had to do the ham was so fragrant.
You know what? You're right though. If you open like a package of like deli ham, it always smells like a fart before.
It's bad. They're just that.
And there's like a little part in your brain that's like, ooh, is that bad? Like, should I eat this?
Yes.
Like the first whiff. Yeah, the first whiff, all your smell alarms go off, and you're like, chemicals, bad, bad, wrong. Yeah, and then you're like, the smell's gone now. It's probably fine.
Fine to eat. Yeah.
I'll just eat this.
There's always something about like a kid who, and it's very nice meals. They'd get like leftover spaghetti or something in a Tupperware, but like having to look at their leftover Tupperware, all tomato saucy as they put it back in their bag there was nothing grosser to me.
Yeah. The amount of times I improperly closed a Tupperware full of spaghetti and it just went all over my lunch bag, and I didn't clean it up because I was in grade 5.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, that's gonna suck for mom to clean later.
Did you guys ever have experiences where like you found a really old sandwich in your backpack like after a long
100%.
happened to me, but my cousin once was like, we were again in the basement hanging out, and she was like, hey, I want to show you something, and then went behind her couch, pulled out her lunch bag, and showed me the moldiest sandwich in the world. And I was like, what is this? And she's like, I forgot to throw this out 2 years ago. I want to see how long it'll go on for. I was like, this is a biohazard. You're trying to kill your family.
And it's not something that'll conclude. It's now life. It is now a small ecosystem.
Exactly. It's going to morph into a person.
Yeah.
When I was in grade 12 and we could all we all had cars and would go out for lunch all of a sudden now. I remember finding a McDonald's hamburger at the back of my locker.
No.
From I was like, this must have been there the whole year. But the worst part is, it was fine.
Oh, of course.
There was nothing
are.
wrong with it.
I
didn't eat it, but there was no mold.
There never is. There never is anything wrong with it. Like the amount of times, sorry to cut you off, but the amount of times I've been like in my dad's car and seen like a fry from the last time I was there like years ago. It's all the time. It's disgusting. They always look the same. They don't shrivel or anything. It's disgusting.
Okay, and here's my question though. Is that dystopic and horrible and terrible and like a modern tragedy that we eat that? Or is it B, a scientific miracle in feeding people? Because like you go to the first people we send to Mars, we're for sure sending them with McDonald's.
Oh, that's true. Like,
why wouldn't we? It won't go moldy.
I feel like for poor people, like I didn't grow up with a lot of money. Like that shit was a godsend. Oh my God. Like
it was the best.
Yes, it doesn't go bad.
Yeah, it's the best.
Exactly,
yeah. And you could feed a whole family for, I don't know how much it was, probably like $10 back then.
Truly $10.
Now it's more.
I remember they had that burger deal at the time. There was 49-cent hamburgers, 69-cent cheeseburgers.
What?
And when I was going to youth group, we would always end youth group by going to McDonald's.
Of
Yes.
course.
So it would have been, we all had cars again. You would go to McDonald's and just get bags of these burgers.
Yeah.
Bags of them.
They're so cheap. It's really fucked how cheap everything was. And I guess in terms of today's like economy still is. But I feel like Rancid having to pay like $6 for 4 chicken nuggets.
That's true.
I don't understand the markup on those nuggets.
That's paper. This is paper.
Yeah.
I think
the nuggets.
Yeah. I think the markup
doesn't McDonald's know that everybody else offers them so much cheaper.
Exactly.
Yeah. Except for Dairy Queen. I mean, not to get into... No, not Dairy Queen. A&W.
A&W, yeah.
You try to go up to chicken tenders at A&W, you're not getting out of there before you spent $30.
You're putting a down payment on some fucking chicken.
You're putting a down payment. You have to get chicken tenders on layaway at A&W. Which I don't think is a thing anymore. Is that nostalgic? Or do stores still do layaway?
You know what? Layaway has morphed. It's millennialized. I coined that term.
I love it.
If you're ordering stuff, I was ordering something from Sephora the other night, and it was like, you could do 5 easy payments of $15.99. This thing called like Zexby. I don't know what the fuck it's called. But essentially it's like a payment plan. I guess it's new layaway.
I wonder if we're going to go full circle. Like we're going to reinvent everything and we're going to be back to like buying homes from the brick. Like, when they sold entire houses and you could like buy them and like assemble them. That's going to be happening again pretty soon.
I think so. These trends always do come back around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
And thanks, Chris, for asking. So my story.
Sorry. Okay, I'll ask Peter. Do you have? I mean, we have a guest here, so
I want to hear a story.
We have a guest, but yes, Peter. Do you have an embarrassing tale? Maybe something equivalent of grade 8 boob.
I still thought we got a turd. I have an embarrassing grade 8 boob story, but it's but I don't think my mom would tell it. It's my story that I tell.
Does your mom listen to this? Would you be then giving her...
My mom she don't listen to me anymore.
She don't listen to me.
I talk too much. Okay, so must have been during when I was still in high school.
Okay.
I did the story. I did the play called The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe,
Yes.
which we all are somewhat familiar with,
Yeah.
probably. It has a number of characters in it. But also has some other characters for teens, for kids that don't quite place into a role where they can actually like say a lot of lines and
Okay.
stuff. So you're like
for the
you're
bad
okay.
actors.
Yeah. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. So I was cast as Aslan's second cat.
Okay.
So he has a couple of cats in the story.
His pet twice removed.
Yeah. It's twice. Yeah. I wasn't the first cat.
Yeah. Oh my
That
God.
cat had some lines.
Yeah, 'cause those were great parts in the movie too. I loved that. Really memorable.
Aslan's second
Second cat. Yeah, great lines.
And maybe it wasn't even in the script. Like maybe the theater company was like trying to be like get more kids
Inclusive?
into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they were like, let's make a role for this poor bastard.
Yeah.
So anyway, we get into it. I'm like, okay, well that's cool. I'll still be part of the big battle scenes and stuff like that. And then we find out what the costumes are, and they are skin tight. Like spandex, gray spandex. And I don't know much about clothing, but I do know that gray is very good at like showing relief.
Everything. It shows everything.
So I'm wearing this
Okay.
thing and wildly insecure about my body.
Yeah.
But more insecure about my raging hormones and the and the fact that backstage is a bunch of flirty girls and flirty
Yeah.
boys who have no idea what's going on in their bodies.
Yes.
So my fear is that and it's a very well-founded fear. My fear is that I'm going to get a boner while wearing this costume.
Yeah.
Right? And again, whatever the opposite of a shout out is to the costume designer who told me something to the effect of like, honey, you don't have anything to worry about kind of
Okay.
a thing.
That's something they would
Yeah.
say. Yeah. Yeah.
What?
Literally an adult
Okay.
telling however 17 years old or whatever I was.
Oh wait, I just got what you said. I thought
yeah.
you meant like you don't have anything to worry about. Like nothing's like I reinforced the crotch. Nothing's gonna show.
No, they were like nobody's gonna see your tiny penis. or
That's
some shit.
disgusting. Who is that adult? I'm fighting them. Oh my god.
No one's gonna see? Was this
In the person's
Oh,
defense,
jeez.
I think that they were kind of thinking like, nobody gets a boner before going on stage because you're so nervous. Everything
All
is
the
kind
blood
of
is
like,
in your head.
Yeah.
But what they didn't suspect, or what they didn't know, is that some of the folks in the play, the folks, I'm a politician now, had taken a liking to me. We were crushing a little bit, and
Yeah.
they're running
Okay.
around in little like elf skirts and like
Everyone's just tickling each other. And
everyone's tickling each other,
yeah,
and there's like a
theater
really
school stuff.
What
Yeah,
is this
exactly.
theater school orgy we're describing here?
and I remember there being a really comfy couch in the green room, and I don't have a lot of scenes, right? So I'm sitting in the comfy couch most of the time, just getting our flirts on. We're having good times. I'm sitting down, and things start to happen, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm worried about this because I spent a lot of time being relaxed, which generates the perfect environment for a boner. So I didn't know about the concept of like dance belts or whatever.
Yeah.
But I invented one my own. So what I did was at home, I found the duct tape in the house, and it was actually kind of ingenious what I did. I got it wasn't.
Hey, wait. So you got a boner at the theater,
Yeah.
and then you were like, "I have to go home."
No.
Or-
I'm doing a very, very bad job of telling the story. But what I'm trying to say is, I was, we're talking rehearsals.
You're like,
we're
this
talking
can
like
never happen again.
exactly.
Yeah, okay.
We're talking lead up to the
Okay.
performance.
Gotcha.
I'm like
To work it out.
Yeah, like all the data shows that I regularly get boners. So I'm going with that data and not with what the lady says that like I'm going to not have to worry about it. So I go home, get the duct tape and wire hangers. Okay. And I fold the wire hanger into sort of like a rebar, like mesh shape shapeless shape, like just nice, just a nice pleasant curve.
A
Okay.
smooth curve. Okay.
Yeah. Then I cover it in duct tape so as not to scratch my ding dong. And then I place that into the underwear, like in front, basically just to kind of hold everything on a smoothed out shape. And I test that out a couple times. I'm looking at my tidy whities. I'm like, it looks smooth. It's got like a Ken doll vibe going on. This is
You're
good.
at home testing it out.
I'm testing it out. So I take the new mechanism that I've just invented. I think I'm a genius, by the way. To the production.
Okay.
The play starts going.
Hider.
I made a boner hider. I made a dance belt or whatever it is that like holds everything down. However, now I kind of think like maybe I'm free to like if I pop a boner, that's all good. I have a structure in place, so I now I feel safe. I feel protected against any boners. And the thing is, I don't know how, like, I wish there was footage of it, but we're sitting on the couch. We're having a good time. One of the crushes is hanging out. Boner ensues. That's fine. I don't have to worry. I've got the shape thing. Unfortunately, the shape thing had bent on the couch into a sort of a shape. The boner had kind of, like, gone and filled the space. And then, you know... It retracts because I'm about to go on stage. But what doesn't retract is now the shape that I've imprinted from sitting on the couch and bending it and like just like working my way into it. So now I run out on stage and I forget what my line is. But my job in the battle scene. Oh, also, this is great. I didn't get to be in the battle scene. My job in the battle scene was to run out at first. Like, there's the big battle happens, right? The Ice Queen, is that her name? I can't remember. She's like freezing everybody with her magical powers. So my job is to run out, and I think I say something like, "Stay away from Aslan," and then she freezes me center stage, like downstage center, and I have to stay the whole battle in sort of like a thing like this, like
It's called in tableau. You're in tableau.
But it's not tableau because everybody else is still fighting around me, but I was one of the first casualties of war, like frozen solid into an ice block. So normally I'm like frozen kind of like in a growly cat position, but this time I was frozen in sort of like a hunched over, like I bent over to try to hide the boner position.
Well, I'm happy that you bent over to save yourself.
I looked like a sickly cat that came in half scrunched over, like, nobody look at me.
And that, I think, that's irony, right? That's what the definition is right there, right? Isn't that it?
Oh,
in order to hide your boner, you crafted something that, in fact, ended up looking like a boner.
Yes. Isn't it ironic, don't you think? Yes, I really do think.
That's way more ironic than rain on a wedding day.
Exactly.
Yes, absolutely.
Way more
ironic. It's like a boner in your high school play, and you fashion a dance belt to hide that boner away.
It's perfect.
Then it comes out, and it highlights that boner.
Then the producer comes in.
Those are lost lyrics.
The producer comes in and is like, all right, yeah, this is like the song's working pretty good. We just have there's this one stanza which one I like. Let's target this one stanza for removing from the song, maybe.
It's true to me, it's true to my life, and it's
for sure not true to your life.
I heard about it. Aba, you went to a theater school too, right?
I went to the U of T's theater school program.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was there a play that you did? What was the high water mark of Aba's role, the big role?
In theater school?
Yeah, in theater school.
Academically, or a role that I did while I was in school?
Both. What's the better story for you?
Because I think the highlight of it's hard because the highlight of my theater school performances would definitely be when we did The Odd Couple, and I guess not cosplayed. I played the characters as they were, so I was dressed as a man, and I had a New York accent. And it was very funny. It was a lot of fun to do. And the highlight of my theater career while I was in school, but not like in the curriculum, I think was we did this play called In Conflict, which was have you ever heard of it?
I'm gonna say yes, but then don't ask me any more questions. Okay. I'm like, yes, I have. I went to theater school. Yes.
I can't remember who it was written by, but it's like a verbatim play.
Is that the verbatim play? Yeah, sorry,
yeah,
keep going.
It's the verbatim play called Conflict. And it's about soldiers who had returned from fighting various wars, just talking about how much they had been let down, the lies that they had been sold by the government and stuff. It really dramatic, really, but it was like the most fun play I've ever done, despite being the most horrific in terms of content. It's like when we weren't bawling our eyes out and being like the PTSD. It's like we were like dancing and like making vines because like Vine was still a thing.
Vine was big.
Yeah,
I love it.
It was a great time.
I mean, that must be like, because there's probably a lot of catharsis, not to get too into it, but like, if you're spending that whole time like diving really deep, you come out of it into a great happiness. So that must have been a roller coaster.
Definitely. I think it's a thing where your mind kind of also naturally is like, okay, enough. We don't want to be depressed. Yeah.
I'm thinking now of the plays that we did outside of the curriculum. Like there was a thing that Peter and I had. It was called SATCO, which is the Student or
Alternative Theater Company.
Alternative.
Okay, cool.
So they would just sort of give you the space after school, and you could put on any play.
Oh, that's amazing.
Man, like some of the ones that people were tackling were, I mean, like there's one called Bent, which is basically it's a Bent is by Martin Sherman, a great playwright. But it's about the Holocaust, and we were all just diving in on this one. And
what is it about?
I was playing like a Nazi SS officer and just like diving in. I think Peter, you were in that too, weren't you?
I was also a Nazi. Now, let me explain myself.
Explain yourself quickly.
In the play, I was a Nazi.
Yeah.
I would love to go back in time and watch that play and be like, because like I don't know how many of us had like
acting so hard.
God,
and
that's
what was our personal connection to the story is the thing. Not to say that we have to have one, but it is a little bit like dressing up. You know, like didn't they have it so bad? Here's our play about that. And there's a part of me that's like, I'd love to go back and see what the teachers thought of us if they just thought, like, the term edgelord comes to mind. Like we were all just a bunch of edgelords, just like trying to put on the most like traumatic play we could think of.
That's the thing. It's such a weird. I feel like theater school very much scams you into thinking like the most fucked up thing you can think is the most authentic.
Yes.
I remember we had this movement teacher. Fuck her. I hope she's not working anymore.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
I fucking hate this lady. I remember I'm a very like naturally like happy, jovial person. As much as like I complain and have an attitude, like you know, like I do have a happy outlook on life generally. And I feel like at the time in theater school, I had a lot of friends and I was making a lot of connections. So when I walked into class, like I was excited to do work. I wasn't performing any type of emotions as Aba. I was genuinely happy and authentically happy to be there. And this movement teacher, I remember one time we were having a conversation about emotion and movement work. And she looked directly at me during this conversation and goes, I don't know, I just find it incredibly impossible to perform happiness. I think it's so hard to get into, and people who can do it very easily maybe performing a bit, essentially like implying that one's like natural demeanor should be like depressed or sad. And I remember going off and probably using like unnecessarily big words and being like, well, I'm just like this way. Like that was the thesis
of course.
Of what I said
this
to
is
her.
my truth.
This is my truth. But there was that energy around theater school where like we would be doing these Canadian plays where it was like, and the girl was raped and killed. And those were like, that was the first paragraph. Like,
opening paragraph.
Horrible trauma nonsense. Yeah.
We're like, doing like a Judith Thompson play or something. I think it was the Crack Walker or something. And you're like looking back, I was like, I would not want to see footage of myself. I was like, that was offensive.
Thank you. Thank you. I think also just young actors. I don't know if you guys have ever seen this tweet, but it's like, you know, when you're in high school and you're really into theater and you're tackling these really adult characters and you have to psych your 12-year-old brain into being like, I have an alcohol addiction.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to take my sip of brandy.
Brandy.
It's so cringy.
Oh no,
It's
keep
just
it
like-
away. Keep it away.
It's probably like that.
Yeah.
I remember like the first time I did I really felt like we were in acting class. It's like, it's we're all just performing little plays for the other 12 people in the room and then getting critiqued. But we were doing Streetcar Named Desire. And this was the first time I felt like I was so nervous and I was acting so hard that once the scene was done, I was like shaking a bit and people were like, "Are you okay? That was really good."
I love it. I love
And I was like, and I was just like leaning into it, like, yeah, no, it's just like a lot, It's so embarrassing. And I was just doing full Brando. I watched the Brando movie.
Yeah.
I watched Streetcar, and I was like talking to them, just like, you left the phone off the hook, Blanche. Tiger, drop the bottle top, or whatever that line is. I have no idea what that line is in that.
You were just
movie.
doing
It's
the
weird.
performance.
You left the phone off the hook.
So wait, was
Powerful stuff.
that kind of felt a little bit like Jay Baruchel?
Oh, that was, you were
So
going
Jay
into
Baruchel.
Jay Baruchel.
Stiller. Come on out. I gotta apologize. I'm so sorry.
Okay, but and I realized that the lesson to take home from all this is
Yeah.
that like we should probably try to like stay within our lived experiences more to
Yes.
bring things. But also acting is the whole thing of like exploring those places. However, another thought is, what I want to see now are very poorly cast versions of classic movies, but I want to see like a full production of one.
Yes.
I would love to watch that.
I love shit like that. But I also I also feel like if you were to look back in my acting career in university, everything I did was like horribly miscast. I remember one time I was in I think it was the 12th night. No, not the 12th night. Yes, the 12th night where the gender swap happens. I don't remember if it's not Shakespeare. Yeah. And I played what's her name? The older lady. It wasn't Ophelia.
No, it wasn't Ophelia.
Not Ophelia.
Amanda. I know this from the movies that are recreated because that one is 10 Things I Hate About You. I
Were
think.
you about to say Amanda Bynes?
That's she's a man.
She's the man. Is Amanda.
She's the man.
Bynes,
Is Amanda
12
Bynes.
Nights.
So
Right.
I played the girl that had a crush on Amanda Bynes.
Okay.
And
Nice.
thought that she was cis in the movie. So basically there's this line in it where it's like, gaze upon my milky complexion or something. And I had to say that line. I feel like gaze upon my white skin. Like, what the fuck? I was like, what kind of casting is this?
Gaze upon my beautiful white
beautiful.
skin.
You should have made me somebody else. Like, it was
Yeah.
insane. It was very funny.
or just like adapt
Just like-
the line, but I
yeah.
guess you're not allowed or
You're
something.
allowed
I
to.
guess you're-
It's
yeah.
Shakespeare. It must not be adapted.
Don't change
Apparently.
it. Don't touch it. This is one of the best plays ever written.
He had
don't you-
perfect
don't you-
views. He wasn't problematic in any way. Leave him
No.
alone. Yeah.
Not at all. No, he wasn't problematic when he cast a black man as the abuser in a play that he wrote. But don't you guys feel like it's an asset to have like this acting background and like this really cringe past of like having to be in theater school,
Absolutely.
but now doing comedy, it's like you have an awareness of that type of embarrassment, so you're less likely to repeat it.
Well, one lesson I remember from our vocal teacher, I think, she had us all like crawl around on the floor and bark like dogs.
Yes.
And
Me too.
yeah, okay, so everybody does this exercise.
Yes.
Right, and it is so lame, but the lesson behind it was actually a good point, which is like if you want to be an actor, like you're gonna be, and she was bang on right. She's like, some of the auditions you're gonna get if you go for, especially like film and TV stuff, is gonna be borderline, actually probably not even borderline, full on degrading,
And abuse. Yeah.
yeah, and it's like, and you've got to be able to like dispose of that shame and go
Exactly.
there. And it's like, oh, that helps for
anybody
comedy
will
for sure.
be. You'll play a dog at some point in your life. I promise you. I promise you will be a dog someday. And then like first improv scene in my first class, I bark
Offered?
like a dog. I offer up that I'm a dog, and you're like, yep. Mm-hmm, yep.
Okay, so the prophecy was true.
She was
I've
right.
been a
Yeah.
dog.
Self-fulfilling, but
Every
knew it was gonna
improv
happen.
scene where somebody plays a dog just goes like oh my God, a talking dog.
Dog.
And then it's just that
Yeah.
every time.
Yeah.
I don't know if it happens in Toronto Improv, but do you guys do the arm wave too? When you're like, when the person running the lights isn't calling the scene, so you're just like, okay.
Right.
You just do a little
Right,
wipe,
let's bring this down. Let's bring the lights down on
Nice.
this. The
That's
scene.
enough.
Yeah.
Oh my God, a talking dog. Okay, and we've been Kibbles and Bits. Thanks, everybody. Thanks
There's
for
some
watching.
moves in improv that are legitimately just sort of rude.
Yeah.
Just like
Yeah.
two people are talking and then you're just like, out and you out. I have a new idea. Out, clap, get out, go.
I hate seeing
Go.
that shit so much.
I hate clap tag outs.
I hate clap tag. I hate it. I hate takeouts in general. I
Freeze.
never take out.
Stop.
Well, you're
Stop.
doing two people are doing a scene and one person just runs right in front of
Yeah.
it, and like that's actually over. That scene you were working on, it's
You
actually
have
done.
to-
now.
you have to
because I've
leave.
ran in front of it.
Exactly. It's like,
And then
oh,
that,
God.
yeah.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Yeah.
And then that person always starts the scene with, I was the city's top detective.
Yes.
I'm the strongest man in the world.
Some fucking nonsense every time.
Like that scene was that scene was going somewhere. It's not fantasy time. Why did you do
Right?
that?
It's so weird. When I was in conservatory, there was always this guy who would never let scenes breathe. And I
Yeah.
feel like for the most part, when people went and like wiped a scene, it was like they were doing the performance of service. Like your scene is bombing hard as your friend. I see that it's ended. I'm gonna try and find a joke
Yeah.
to wipe on, but other than
Yeah.
that, like, you know. But there was this one guy who would always be like, the scene is over right before the punchline of the joke. Every time. And it wasn't sabotage. He, like, as soon as a scene was breathing a bit or like a joke was like getting to the punchline, he mistook that as like hesitation because we didn't know what we were doing.
Right,
It
he's
was
like
really
scared.
fun. Yeah. Yeah.
So he uses the one like tool in his kit that's like taking the power. Just like, nah, it's done. It's done.
It was
Bail
wild.
immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
so
so
I guess
funny.
like it sounds like we don't miss improv. Do we miss it? Like have we
I never liked, I'll say it. I never liked doing improv. And the only reason I did it is because everyone said I should. But I no
Improv skates this fine line of being entertainment or being self-congratulatory. Like
Yes.
if you're
Yeah.
because you have no idea when you're walking into it unless you know the
Yes.
people and are friends with them. But that's
Thank
still
you.
kind of self-congratulatory.
Thank
If
you.
you're going to see your friends
Exactly.
do stand up, you're going to watch your friends
Yeah.
hang out.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what it was when I moved to Toronto. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's when I really started doing improv more. I mean, like sort of on the way out of Vancouver as well with Peter there. But like it was just a way to make friends.
Yeah.
And
It's a
then I was like-
great way to make friends.
And now I'm kind of like, do I miss it though? I don't know. I don't know.
Well, before the pandemic happened, I was in conservatory
Yeah.
and I had made, honestly, my conservatory group was like the best group of people in the entire world. Like we were really close, but we also had really great chemistry with each other. So our scenes always went well. But it was very much this thing where like in the middle of the lockdown that happened last year, I was like, oh my God, I miss them so much. And then like
Yeah.
recently last month, like I saw a post from one of them and I was like, oh my God, I remember you. Like there's
Yeah.
like this complete dissociation that's happened with me where when I see their post now, I'm like, oh my God, I remember this person exists, but I still don't want to do improv.
Yeah,
don't-
but I'm still done with it.
I'm done with it. I'm so done with
For
it.
anybody not familiar, conservatory is a Second City
Yeah.
conservatory.
Sorry, that was
the
a bit inside baseball
comedy.
there.
No, not really. It's
I
comedy
mean,
school. it's fun.
if I can throw out one defense of improv,
Yes.
Sure.
this would be my
Yes,
this would be my
defend it.
this is my defense of it. I kind of feel like I'll use a sports analogy, but I don't know anything about sports.
Yeah.
I'm sort of the opposite of both of you. It's kind of like professional soccer
Yeah.
Whoa.
and how
I'm
everybody loves playing soccer as well. It's very, very popular sport to play amateurly, is what I'm saying.
Yes. Yes.
And what I think the
yes.
problem with improv is we're trying to charge people to come see the like field games that friends are
Yeah.
playing.
Yeah.
And we've forgotten because like when you go see good improv, I've seen some improv where it's like there's a group, I forget who their name is, they created and they spoke in iambic pentameter and they would improvise
yeah,
Shakespeare.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
they're
you've
out of
you remember this
Chicago.
group?
Can't remember.
Yeah.
I remember
And
this
it's
group,
like
yeah.
so it's a magic trick, and they build all the assets, like the elements they're going to use in the piece, like out on a whiteboard or something like that, and then you watch them seamlessly weave a thing together, ending each scene with like a whatever you call that, a rhyming couplet,
Yes.
and speaking iambic, and it's like the professional, like when you go see a good improv show,
Yes.
it's like magic.
It's
because they're
crazy.
actually they're not improvising jokes.
Yeah.
They're using like they're doing the sport professionally.
Yes.
I think is my defense of it.
Yeah.
The problem is I think people like this guy right here flooded the market with just like $5 shows where it's like, come watch me play soccer behind the co-op.
It's also like a thing of like you want to rehearse. I feel like everyone thinks like you can't rehearse improv, but you can.
All right, just show up.
Yeah, or you just show up. But it's like you need to do it over and over again with the same group in order to get like a rhythm or like
Yes.
Yeah. And I guess with that in mind, you have to have an audience sometimes. Honestly, there are so many $5, fucking $2 pay with a kiss shows I've been to where it's like, initially I thought I was walking into a bunch of friends just having a circle jerk, but it ended up being like a really fun show because it's more like there are no inhibitions. It's like we're just practicing. We're just being stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I will say that like when I got serious about improv because I had to, I was able to like differentiate between good improv and bad improv. I think that's the issue. If a lot of people first going into improv just think it's all the same, but after I saw like Matt Folia and like Essie, oh my god, I can't remember her last name, but she's very funny, and even like Adonis Charlie, after I saw them perform, I was like, oh god, like this has to be good sometimes. Like,
yeah. And we're all chasing that high. We're like
exactly.
trying to get,
yeah.
So was the audience probably. They're like, come on, be one of those shows.
Please.
Blow my mind.
I paid with a kiss for this.
Who growing up, did you have any like do you have a moment where you're like, I want to do comedy when you were growing up? Like was there like
Absolutely.
I like to call them like the superhero moment.
The
Like,
superhero?
oh gosh, I have a calling.
Yes, the
have a
Spider-Man
calling.
moment where I'm like, there's stuff coming out of my wrist.
Yeah.
You know what?
Sticky.
I love that term, except for the sticky part. What is your Spider-Man moment?
My Spider-Man moment. So growing up, my family's always been really funny, and like all my friends have been incredibly funny because I think it's a thing where when you're a kid, and you're not like super pretty, like you're like, I'll work on my personality.
I gotta be one of those people.
Yeah. I was a really nerdy kid who was also genderqueer and didn't know. So I relied on comedy heavily. And so basically my entire life though, I was also very awkward. So I was like, I can never do comedy professionally because people are just gonna feel bad for me. So I never took it seriously until I one day started watching Comedy Central stand-up segments. They'd have them like every Saturday, and it'd be like really classic comedians like Wanda Sykes, but then like a lot of newer comedians. And I was just like obsessed with this form of storytelling, and I was obsessed with the fact that like one person was garnering a lot of attention. Because up until then I had only done like,
there it is.
I'm like,
That's the
I
thing
want to
I
be the
want.
star. And even then though, I was like, oh, I can't do this. I'm basically because I was like, I'm not a man. I thought it was a man thing, like only guys could do stand up. Then I started watching SNL and I saw Maya Rudolph and Amy Poehler and stuff, and I was like, holy fuck, I have to do this. It was after I saw Threw It on the Ground, I think. It was after I saw Lonely Island performing. I was like,
sketch.
yeah,
Threw it on the
ground. My dad is not a cell phone. That's my favorite line.
Yeah.
It was at that moment I was like, my dad is not a cell phone. I can write something as stupid as that.
Yes. I love that the silly is your inspiration, especially like Maya Rudolph too. Like I think she was kind of like an expert at the off-key silly. The like,
oh my god,
like,
she's so great. Yes, she's so great at like an off-key silly, and then she's also really good at like I love that she has like a really great like facial comedy knowledge. Like sometimes she'll move her mouth a certain way and I like cry. Like she's amazing.
Yeah, those early SNL, like, I mean, a lot of the Lonely Island for sure made me go like, oh man, comedy could be just playing Imogen Heap over and over as like people shoot each
Dear
other. I was like,
sister!
oh god,
good sketch. That's a good sketch though.
So stupid.
So like, oh wow, it doesn't have to be like so like,
Yes.
classic sketch is that you set it up and you
Yes.
escalate it 3 times. The
Yes.
character learns something and then they have a down moment.
Yeah.
And then you make the same joke you did at the beginning
what
again.
it is.
And that's a sketch.
Well, that's the thing. Like all the sketch comedy and like comedy in general, I had seen until then was like very like set up, execute, set up. And so it was like very. I knew the pattern, but I also knew that you had to be smart and the words had to be very specific and da. So seeing like The Lonely Island just take everyday isms and nonsense and then do the stupidest thing with it was like, it really informed what I find funny now. Cause like I'm a huge fan of like I Think You Should Leave and like Sam Richardson and comedians like that. Yeah.
Detroiters type thing.
Yes.
I love Detroiters too.
Great show.
It must be wild. I can't imagine what they feel like, and I don't know if they actually believe this or not, but like how much modern comedy they kind of created,
crazy.
even just with Threw It on the Ground. We were all like, that's what comedy is now, and now it's like we flooded the market.
Yeah. He's created an entire generation of comedians like that, I think.
Totally. Yeah.
And I feel like that I Think You Should Leave has definitely created a type of new sketch as well. Where everybody's absolutely, it's sort of a sketch inverted. Like a normal sketch would have one wacky character and then other people going like, what's this guy doing? And then I Think You Should Leave is like everybody's wacky and one person's like,
what's happening?
What's happening? Yeah.
But then somehow we're not supposed to relate to the one character who's like, what's happening? We're supposed to relate to one of the wacky characters.
It's crazy how that works. And I feel like growing up, my parents really love stand-up. They really love comedy as well, but they grew up with like classics. Like they love like fucking like Steve Harvey and like Cedric the Entertainer and like some more and like, you know, Southern Kings of Comedy and stuff like that. So I feel like the moment I discovered comedy like that's like very offbeat, it made sense. And like, I was like, oh, you can do this professionally? Because up until then, that kind of comedy was like either on the internet on YouTube or on like a shitty MTV reality show.
Yeah.
That you can watch unless it was on cable. So
it wasn't valuable. Like the Lonely Island was doing The Boo, and that was garbage. So it was on the internet. But you're like, no, this is web series. This is like the first web series.
The first web series.
Shameful moment. I remember watching The Boo, and then being like, I'm gonna record one called The VI, like Vancouver Island, and I pretty much just did shot for shot what The Boo was.
Find the footage.
Sort of thinking like,
release
just
the tapes.
totally passing it off as my own, and like playing it at like this coffee house, being like, I've made this sketch. I'm like, I just fully plagiarized their work.
Did anyone call you out?
Yes, of course I got called out, and I very much heavily. That's where university learning lessons that you can't steal.
Abba, did you throw up a self-produced? Did you throw like what was your first? You know, I created this piece. Did you do one as a kid, or are we talking?
Oh my god! So as a kid, I didn't really do. I didn't have the access to any resources really to do anything fun. So my friends and I would do incredibly stupid fucking YouTube videos.
Yes.
Where
they might still be up.
I think so, unfortunately. And we did one called The Crazy Test, where you answer, it's like an interview series and you have to answer all these questions. And if you get specific answers right, you're crazy or whatever. And so we recorded that. We recorded a bunch of videos for contests. We were big into that because like kids were still reading magazines and like looking on the back of like fucking milk cartons. And companies would have those like competitions that are like, oh, give us your best whatever impression and we'll give you a box of cereal for a year. Or
and you're like,
yeah, exactly.
That's so funny.
So I did a lot of those. Yeah.
Can you please see if you can find them and then we'll put the link in the description. We're gonna be like,
I can't believe I'm admitting this. This is so embarrassing. This is the age of parody in like 2006, 2007, where all these parody movies were coming out and everyone was spoofing everything on YouTube. So I was big into spoofs as well. And I made a spoof of Twilight. and it got banned on YouTube.
It got
because
banned.
People reported it because I made it comedic. Like all the spoofs of Twilight on YouTube. I guess they weren't spoofs. They were like revisionings of Twilight.
Yeah, what do you call those? Like
it was
fanfic.
Fanfic. It was like fanfic. Like, oh, Bella actually becomes a vampire earlier, whatever. And mine was like, Bella gets an abortion.
Okay.
And then YouTube was like, we've got to get this person out of here.
Oh no, these feminists.
They are not right for this platform, says YouTube.
Yeah. Before people start taking that as Twilight canon, we have to get her out.
What if the Twilight lady herself was like, no, not allowed.
It was her. She tapped the CEO.
She copy strikes it.
Yeah, it's like enough.
Enough.
This
is not what YouTube is for. YouTube is not for commentary or weird videos.
Yes.
Get this out of here.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Well, we're gonna launch into a little quick lightning round.
Nice.
I mean, in sort of like in a nod to your podcast, Nostalgique, I'm gonna ask you, what was the first song that you downloaded illegally off of like Napster or LimeWire? Actually, what platform did you download it on? That's a better one too.
Platform and song.
I was a LimeWire kid. Always used
yeah.
LimeWire. Didn't learn how to torrent until I was in my teens. And the first song was probably like "I Don't Dance" off this Twilight. Off of the High School Musical soundtrack. High School Musical 2. "I Don't Dance."
That's the best.
Yeah.
What was that one? Yes.
I don't dance. I know you can. Not no chance. No.
Oh yeah.
That's the
So
best.
stupid.
Forgot about High School. How did I forget about High School Musical?
Yeah, High School
You
Musical
can't.
was huge. It was crazy big. Yeah.
That was Zac Efron's big debut.
Big debut. Now he's
Got his
catching it
own job.
online.
Yeah, everybody's freaking out about his face now.
Everyone is dragging the poor guy. Oh God, I feel really bad for him.
The cycle continues.
Yes.
It was also, I looked at that photo and I was of his, I guess, quote unquote, new jaw, and I was kind of like, it also kind of looks like he just sort of is aging.
Exactly.
Like he's getting older.
Right.
Yes, and his face is
don't
getting
know.
puffier. Like
Yeah.
he's getting older. But I think he said that he did it because after he did his nature show, people were like, "What happened to your face?" Because he's getting older. And he made it worse, and I feel bad for him.
Oh, so he did like get some work done.
He
Oh,
said
I
that.
didn't know that he'd come out saying that. Yeah, I sort of got like a Rob Lowe jaw now, I guess.
Yeah.
I feel like as soon as you get like that big in that industry, it probably chews you up and spits you out immediately.
for
Like it's
sure.
probably a nightmare.
Yeah. People fell in love with him when he was a teen. Like, of course his face is going to change.
When are we gonna? Oh, anyway, this is supposed to be the lightning round.
Yeah,
but I'm
I'm
like,
sorry.
at some point, we're gonna be like, oh, we fell in love with him when he was a teen. We're gonna be like,
The point of the
fell in
lightning
love.
round is to, ask a quick question that promotes conversation. And yes, we've talked about Zac Efron now, and it's beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
But this is a brand new lightning round question.
Okay.
I'm going to test it out.
Okay.
I think this is going to maybe be one of our best lightning round questions.
Okay.
I would like you to rant a little bit about your most hated emoji. What's the worst emoji and you hate seeing it?
The worst
that's a
emoji.
good question.
Everybody can answer. We'll do one.
Okay. The worst
Chris
emoji.
has one.
Oh fuck. Oh no. The emoji that I hate the most is fuck. Someone else go.
I can go first. I'll
Okay,
go
you
first because this was.
Let me look
this
through my
was,
emojis.
I saw that one and that made me think of this question. The little guy that's smiling when he's got little blushy cheeks.
Yeah.
And like you get him if you type into your phone thankful or something, you get that little guy and he's like, it just sounds like he's going, Every time I see his stupid little face, I hear him going,
Mine is when they change the guns into water guns. I want my guns back.
You can't even find a water gun anymore at all.
They took water guns
I think
out
water
too?
gun's gone too.
That's so stupid.
Maybe. Let me type in water
Oh,
gun.
that's horrible. Okay, so as you know
It's
what?
not there. It's gone.
Okay, here's Aba's.
As somebody who honestly has been very logged on for a long time, I love every single emoji like they're my children. I must admit, I simply am an e-girl, but I really really, really, really dislike the emoji that's like fuck, how do I explain it? It's like the smiling, I'll show you. It's like the smiling emoji, but it's the one with the long eyes. So you know how there are several different smiling emojis?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's this one. And its eyes are long. You see how there are others where their eyes are
holes for
tall?
eyes.
Why the
holes
fuck are
for
his eyes so long? What the fuck is going on there? Why are they long? When do people's eyes become long? That's so weird.
Sort of looks like you can look at show that one again.
Yeah.
Just hold it up because it looks like you could also see it as his eyes have popped out and there's just empty sockets.
Yeah, it's scary.
Well, they all have like holes for eyes, but like they're just so long.
Yeah, look at it as like holes for eyes.
Can you put can you put a more like a normal eye one next to it?
Eye one, yes.
I want to see I want to compare them.
So,
There might be only one that has normal eyes, and it's the shocked look guy, and he's got little beady
Just like
eyes,
round.
right?
So do you see? It's the exact same smile. With eyes.
Yeah.
This guy is a fucking asshole. This guy is normal. Like.
Yeah, what's the difference of expression there? Why do you need that?
Well, there are two different ones.
Like,
you know what?
That's wild.
That's
I've
good.
never even noticed that.
That's a good one. It's
Yeah.
a good hate. That's a good one. I love it.
Yeah, good
Peter,
rant.
I'd like to hear your hated emoji.
The guns. I want the guns back.
Oh, right.
I want violent representation of guns.
Right.
It doesn't make sense.
I skipped over it.
They turn it into a water gun. Why not just take it away? It doesn't make any
Well, I guess they did eventually.
You straight up can't. I wonder if you can even have a bomb anymore. No, there's a bomb.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's a cartoon bomb, though. A little circle
like
with
Acme?
a wick.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
I love
exactly.
that. I love that cell phones are like, we did it.
Yeah.
We fixed it.
Solved it. We don't need policy. The cell
No guns in our phones.
Children will continue to die. Like,
Yeah. Your move, rest of the world. We
Yeah.
did our part.
Oh my god.
Well, those are my lightning questions for this round.
Yeah.
I'd say that
Good
that
lightning
was
round.
a really nice episode. Very fun. A
very
good walk
fun.
down some memory lane through theater school.
And then a
good
solid
ripping on
2-question
improv.
lightning round at the end.
Yeah, well, lightning, if it's a true lightning round, it should be
That's true.
one question because
Yes.
lightning doesn't, 2 questions is lightning doesn't strike twice,
Yeah.
right?
Yes,
You should
you're
just,
right.
really the lightning round should just be you scream really loud at us
One-
really quickly.
One quick question.
Yeah. And it's
out.
really loud. And then you don't listen for the answer. You just end the podcast.
That's it. It just finishes.
Yeah.
Abba, do you have anything you'd want to plug out to our 40, 50 listeners?
No, you have more than that.
I don't know. I don't check anymore.
No, well,
It's best not to check.
It's best not to ever look. I think it's steadily growing.
when I was listening the other day, I saw that you guys had an Amazon Prime commercial, and I think you have to have a specific number of listeners for that. So
I didn't know that we're promoting Amazon on our.
you guys are evil. No, it was promoting Amazon, not the Prime, a movie that's on Amazon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I know, isn't it fucked that we can't consent to what ads are on?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I remember clicking some boxes being like, which ads do you want on it?
Yeah.
And I was definitely remember clicking more TV, movies, and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
We
okay.
tend to talk
That's okay
about
then.
it.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
didn't know it was coming all through Amazon Prime.
Now you're pissed. No,
I'm pissed.
It's fine.
This service that I secretly use and don't tell anybody about.
You know what? Honestly, if you're listening right now, go and check your bank statements. You might have gotten Amazon Prime fucking 4 years ago before you knew how they were treating their workers, and you're probably still paying for Amazon Prime. So go check and delete it.
Cancel that.
Cancel it.
Cancel
that shit. This podcast has been brought to you by Amazon. Get your products delivered to you and don't ask any more questions, you son of a bitch. You like cheap clothes? We've got the cheapest clothes. Don't ask how we make them.
Amazon, delivered to you by just a guy. I don't know. Does he work for the company? I don't know. He drives up in his car or van, pulls it out, throws it on your door. Amazon.
Amazon. Have a happy day.
I want to plug Nostalgique. It's also
Yeah.
on the Sonar Network. You can get it anywhere you listen to podcasts. It was featured in The Vulture and Toronto Star. And
Huge.
thank you very much. I host it with Ben Sosa, right? It's produced with Aiden and Lachlan. And yeah, we just talk about pop stars from our past that we stand. Chris has been on it. Peter's going to be on it next. And we're going to talk about more old school stuff.
Yeah, I want to be on it.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
It was a fun podcast.
Yeah, and follow me on Twitter at ABAQUAN.
This time, it's different. With Peter and Chris. This time, it's different.
This one's for you.
Okay, here's mine. It's going to be more in like the Fremulon territory.
Okay.
Ship's nasty.
I kind of like that as a production company. Ship's Nasty is a great one.
Okay. Are those my grade 8 boobies?
It's just a picture, but with a big censor bar right over.
That's horrible.
That's awesome.
This podcast has been brought to you by the Sonar Network. Sonar!
Oops, drop the podcast. What if people liked and also subscribed?
I think we're just down here to kill time.